Hello guys, welcome back to another video. This is the Football Connect, and we are going to be doing what we call the Club World Cup review, covering all the games which have been played in the last 12 hours. Yeah, I think 12 hours. So yeah, from the 10-0 game to the 0-0 to the 2-1. It's going to be interesting, people. But of course, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Where are you watching us from? Are you enjoying the Club World Cup, or is it just a bit weird, like maybe the way we are feeling right now, complaining about how things are just moving in a different way in terms of how it feels like it's a summer friendly or something like that. It's not yet showing that it's a big huge competition. Maybe that'll change. Maybe that'll change as the competition keeps going forward, as the things keeps getting serious, as the bigger teams keep eliminating the little ones to see exactly how things stands up like. But are you enjoying it? Because this is a Club World Cup. It means from each and every continent in the world, there is a club, or there are two, at least two clubs from each and every continent. So you should be enjoying that. So I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Hit the like button, subscribe to the connect. Let me know where you're watching us from and what you think of the Club World Cup. Let's get into it. So, of course, we had the three games which were played since the last game that we did the analysis. Remember, we did the Al Ahly and the Inter Miami game that finished 0-0. But we got to heat it up because Group C played and Group B played. And I think that was on Sunday. And I think Monday we also had Group A playing as well as Group B playing. So that tells you that in terms of the groups, in terms of everything, now we are starting to move in terms of time and everything that is happening. So of course we're gonna start with the first game, which was played, the 10-0 game that we were watching. To be honest, I really wanted to fall asleep watching this game. The reason why is because it was just easy, man. It was just way easy for Bayern Munich. It felt like, um, if I say men versus boy, that is not fair on the boys because that is a bit lenient. I was actually telling my wife while we were watching this game, I actually said to her, do you know that if you put Arsenal women, or maybe let me say Barcelona women, against Bayern Munich, they would actually give it more of a challenge than this team that we gave it. Then I started to learn that the goalkeeper is actually somebody who works in construction of the team that was playing with Bayern Munich. The captain is actually a shop supervisor. This is a team that is practically actually made from home, but they've been successful in their continent where they're coming from, and they've come to perform the way they did. So, but that at the end of the day doesn't change that the game finished. I'm gonna repeat it, 10-0. That doesn't change it. So let's talk about how the things happened really. So I'm just gonna give you an entire history of all the game or goals we just scored, how the game played out, and whatever that happened. So you should be really interested in hearing what I'm going to be saying over this. So the first of goal was scored by Kingsley Coleman. It was an early goal. He scored it 6 minutes into the game, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a long day. Then as the game continued, 18 minutes later, I think Sanchez Bill or something like that, that's how you would call him, Sanchez scored a second goal. Then Michael Olise scored at 20 minutes. Then we also had Kingsley Coman scoring as well at 21 minutes. So there was two goals in between 2 minutes. Then also we saw Michael Olise scoring another one in the 43 minutes to make it. I think from then it was now, was it five? Before the Olise goal, Thomas Muller scored in the 45 minutes at halftime. Then Olise scored in 45 plus 3 added on minutes to make it 6-0 going to halftime. Then when they came back, there were some changes which were done. Harry Kane could not score a goal. They were happy about that, by the way. Then in the 67th minutes, Jamal Musiala scored the first goal, gets a penalty, scores another goal. Then after that, scores the last to make it a hat trick. He's the only player who actually scored a hat trick. I thought there were going to be so many hat tricks in here, but he scored a hat trick. Then lastly, Thomas Muller scored the last goal to make it 10-0. I think that is the only thing we can say. If I remember so well, I think that team only had one shot on target, and that was in the late stages of the game. They had one breakout that could have led into something, but Yamal Musiala defended well to stop it from going anywhere. And that's everything that this team could offer to watch. When we are being honest, when it comes to this game, there was nothing more, nothing less they could do. That's exactly where their level is, compete against one of the best teams in Europe. And it was very, very clear. In fact, if we're being honest, that was easy money that Bayern Munich will ever make whenever they're doing football. So that's how the game finished up like. Then we continued because it went to the second match, which my time was around 9 p.m., which was PSG versus Atletico Madrid. And I knew for a fact that PSG were just that good because we've been seeing what they did in the Champions League. We've been seeing the team playing. They literally beat. I think they now hold the most team with the most goals ever scored in the Champions League final. 5 goals against AC Milan with no response. That has to be very clear. With no response, according to some stats that I saw, I did not really go deep into it. I heard that they've scored 100, 105 or 106 goals in 2025 alone. So that is from January to the end of season. They've scored 105 goals. I'm telling you, this team is just they're just one of the hardest teams to play with. They know how to stop you from creating any counterattacks. They know how to set up a structure which helps them when you hit them on the counter, but also which can hurt you going forward. I was actually talking to my father while we were watching this game because he thought Atletico Madrid had a chance, and I told him, in no way in hell that there's going to be a chance for Atletico Madrid. The reason why I was talking about it, because he was saying that the thing he was complaining about was that Atletico Madrid is not covering, or it's not covering the spaces that they're leaving for this PSG team. That's why PSG are having fun to take advantages and actually really hurt this team by so much with the way it's going. Then I was like, I hear you. I'm not refusing. What you're saying is correct. But you have to understand something that is really important. And I thought he was missing this point. And it is how PSG has some of the best footballers in terms of their midfield. Their midfield is probably the strongest I've ever seen. They have some of the little people, Jao Neves and Vatina, height-wise, body structure-wise, they're very small. Fabian Ruiz, of course, maybe might be better because he's taller, but they are very small body wise, yet they are just so good technically controlling the ball, moving the ball. They know how to take advantages of small spaces as well as even when there's so much space. There was a moment when the Atletico Madrid was trying to put more players, sacrificing a striker to come in and help in the midfield, sacrificing a defender to try and help in the midfield. And PSG took advantage of that with only easy passing, but they look easier because it's them doing it. You cannot say that when you're on the other side. You cannot say that when you're watching it from the other side. And that's what separates PSG from so many teams. They're just that good. And remember, on top of that, they have that lethal strike force of all the players that are up top. I'm talking about Caravaskerium. In this game, it was Caravaskerium, it was Ramos, and it was Desiree Dube. We did not even see Usman Dembele. If Dembele was in this game, it could have been even worse than it was. But like I'm telling you, that midfield, and also not forgetting the work rate that their fullbacks covered. Nuno Mendes and Akim, those guys work like crazy. And the thing that Luis Enrique got so well, and I feel like that's exactly what the Arne Slot is trying to do with Liverpool. If you look at the striker, the players he's signing to add into the team, he's trying to create that interesting core to get that relationship of the right back and the left back who can be able to work well to produce more going forward. And this is how it's working. Whenever Nuno Mendes goes forward, rather than Akim dropping back, they don't drop Akim because he's not really good defensively the way they want him to do. They drop Vatinha. What is the purpose of dropping Vatinha? You may be wondering. Or sometimes they drop Jao Neves. Whenever they're dropping Jao Neves, it means that they have maybe a robust attack that they need to stop in terms of whenever it's really. And one thing about Jao Neves, he can fight for the ball. He has so much power within him to keep fighting to win the balls, and he drops in to help out. But when they're trying to build from behind, they are not afraid to drop a Vatina. The reason why they drop Vatina, there's no one who's very good in controlling the ball, in movement of the ball, and in passes of the ball than him. I'm literally telling you the way they beat Liverpool as the same template that they also used to beat AC Milan, Arsenal, and also in this game, Atletico Madrid. They just know how to use each and every individual in that squad knows their role, and each and every individual understands when they have to go up and go down, and that's what makes them dangerous. And remember, they were playing with a false nine, but in this game it was different. They were actually playing with an actual nine, but that actual nine, he was not only a goal scorer, somebody who's willing to waiting for the ball to come to him the way Haaland plays. No, João Gomez was actually coming back, and in him coming back, playing that false nine while he's actually number nine, that is dangerous to deal with because it means Due, Akim, and what they can go forward and add more while he's receiving the ball from them, knowing when to just hold down the pressure and causing the defense to lose the way they should be standing and opening spaces. And that's how they're hitting this team. Watch this team, I'm telling you, take your time, just watch their tactics. They are so simple yet impossible to stop because of how good the players are, and secondly, because of how Emery has been able to work it well so that his chess piece moving so well. I'm telling you, if Liverpool can get, for example, let me just talk about transfers on the other side. If Liverpool can get somebody like a um, Alvarez from Atletico Madrid, that team can also be unstoppable because if Arne Slot is going to apply a simple techniques like the way we are seeing from this team called PSG, they could be unstoppable really as well. And it's going to be exciting to see when the two teams meet at the end of the game. But that's another story. But you understand what I'm talking about. The way the striker knows when to drop back or to go forward, it's very, very pivotal in helping the success that Unai Emery has built. And if you think I'm lying, look at the goals which were scored. The first goal by Ruiz. If you understand, the ball came from the right side where Akim is, where they always. This is the thing that happens. Let me tell you the structure whenever they're on the attack. What happens is this: when they're on the attack, the ball is in the back right. They're doing 1, 2, 3 passes. They make sure that they have a back three. A back three either with Vatina dropping in or maybe Nuno Mendes staying backwards. Yeah, Nuno Mendes either staying backwards to make it a back three. Then, of course, Marquinhos move on to that right side to make that back three formation so perfect. And whoever is in the middle, either maybe that could be Pacho or maybe Vatina as the center of those. When that has happened, what happens is this: Akim has an opportunity either to go in the midfield or even move and be in between the midfield and the strike force to make sure that the strike force has more play people going forward. And this is the interesting part. When he goes into the strike force to make that front three, the striker drops a bit to make himself look like a false nine in allowing that those passing angles, those 3 threes to make it easier in the midfield whenever they're moving the ball to go forward, and they can hit it on the counter or maybe move with the ball easily and they go hurt you. The players like Caravascaria are very good technically and they also have speed to go forward. Desiree Due offers the same thing, and that's exactly how Atletico can do it. Because if you notice, I think it was Due who had the ball on the right. He moved with the ball and it made it easier for them to pass it back for Fabian Ruiz to score the first goal. Second one, they hit the team on the counter attack. I think it was from an attack from Atletico, and they took advantages. Few quick passes, they were read up forward, and the confidence that Vatinha has, rather than to pass it, he moved and he took advantage of the space which had opened to score it to make it 2-0. And in the second half, it happened as well. This is how this team plays before we went to the penalty in the end. That's how they play. That's how they are beating teams. And it's so clear and it's so good and it makes them so good. And we move on to the next game, people, because I think I spent so much time on this PSG game. And we had a game which was played between Porto and Palmeiras. I did not watch this game, people, because it was no longer in the time range. It was really practical early in the morning. Then, of course, the Sport finished 0-0. Then also, but Botafogo played against a team called Settle. Sound that it finished 2-1. I'm not really sure about these teams. Maybe we'll see them going forward if they are very good. But that's all we can talk about when it comes to the reaction of all the games which were played today in the Champions League, in the FIFA Club World Cup. It's really gonna be exciting. I'm telling you, this tournament. Even though it feels it gives me giving that summerish vibes, maybe people are just laid low and whatever, but it's still exciting. I'm really excited about where this can go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Tell me if you understand the way I kind of like debunked and try to give a proper analysis of how this team called PSG is playing and how that could actually happen to Liverpool. Now, dangerous they can be. Just throwing it out there. Any takers? I don't know. Like the video, subscribe to Connect. I'll see you on another one. We're out. Peace. Subscribe to the Connect.